Welcome back to GBRANZ, brought to you by Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman has a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. I'm Andy Rowe. All Blacks legend Justin Marshall is with me in studio. Wallabies winner Jeremy Poole will be joining us later on, and so will Clutch King James O'Connor. But it is a special welcome to former Springboks hooker Hanyani Shimange. Shimmy, welcome to the show. Did I get your name right for a start?
No, it was right. Hanyani Shimange. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Good to be in Christchurch. Is that right?
That's right. That's how you pronounce it, mate. Yep.
It's good to be out here. It was a good game. We're also going to talk about the big game, but good to be on with you guys.
Because he gets really worried because he butchered Richie Mo'onga's name about four times.
You got in my fucking head with that, and it was embarrassing. I
Richie
knew how to.
Mo'onga.
Yeah,
it's easy.
But we had him on, and so he shit the bed on it. He was.
How do you get? Were you nervous?
Marshall was in my head. Marshall was in my
I was
head.
in his head saying, you can't get his name wrong.
Like
I said, if you get his name wrong, it's something that he really feels strongly about. So make sure you get it right. And he was like, "Welcome to GBRANZ, Richie Mo'onga." It was like,
mate, I cringed thinking
Richie
about
Mo'onga.
it.
It's the easiest
It's
name
easy.
to pronounce.
I know. It's funny because I got the Richie bit wrong. Mate, the ref, did he get any calls wrong on the weekend? Because I see some South African fans are not happy.
The elephant in the room.
the Green Goblins.
What's his
mate,
address at Wahiki Island? No, look, for me. There were a couple of wrong calls, I thought, but it became a free fall. I thought at times at the breakdown. It's not the reason the Springboks lost, to be honest with you, but there's a lot of calls there. I've particularly been on forward. You look at one or two, the first couple of scrums collapses, no decisions made. Then he made decisions at the end. But for me, it was the breakdown really where I thought, it was a bit of a free fall there.
What did you make of it, Marshy?
Yeah, look, it's when you have a game that's so tense and so tight, it's really easy to pinpoint the referee because decisions when it's a really tight game are going to be influential decisions, and I felt that in general I thought that his balance was whether he was too harsh in one area or not harsh enough in an area. He was consistent in the way that he did it.
Right.
And it's really hard to be, I guess, measured when your team's won.
Yeah.
To say there was a problem with the referee. So, look, I can't say that it wasn't the style of game either that was super free-flowing. It was quite combative. Yeah. And there wasn't stages where the ball was being swung around. Both teams didn't really want to play in that sort of halfway zone. They kind of weren't
trying to kick it.
Yeah, they just kept trying to kick and win the aerial battle, and sort of it was a game of chess in there. Because every time the All Blacks basically got on the 22, they pretty much scored.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anywhere near the entries that the Springboks did. When I look at it, going all the way back to your question about the referee, because I've kind of fucking, do you know what I mean?
It's good chat.
I've bounced around it. The thing that I found when I digested the game and looked at it was, probably the Springboks got a few decisions that they should have go their way that didn't.
Yeah.
But secondly, they were the architects of their own demise. They made way too many errors in the red zone. Usually when they get in there, they're ruthless.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They coughed the ball up. Yeah. Guys shepherding, got called for blocking a lot. Front runners were ahead of ball carriers. Real simplistic stuff that they don't usually do.
It did feel that way when you're in the stands, because I was in the stands and great seats. But when you had the Springboks on attack, you're like, oh, we're fucked. They're going to score here. They're going to score. And so many times we just breathed this big sigh of relief because you just let us off the hook with this an error that you never make.
It was compounding errors. So. Sometimes you miss the line out, All Blacks steal it. The next time you get the line out, the delivery is not good. Then you get the delivery right, and then there's a knock-on, or there's a mistake at the breakdown. So it was compounding errors. You could sense the frustration a lot from the Springboks. But even the ref, you sit there, Marsh, you sit there in the commentary box, and you don't really want to make it about the ref. There's a part of me that, there's frustration from the players. There's a lot of chat there. It was almost like he lost a bit of control. And then you think to yourself, am I seeing the same picture as everyone else? Then you go on social media, then you hear the outcry, and you're like, maybe I wasn't wrong. Because sometimes you think, you're sitting there, I'm like, no, man, was he offsides? You start almost double guessing yourself, but you don't want to make it about the ref. If you ask me what if you come out there and say, listen, reffing performance out of 10, definitely not. there is, and not because of the result. I just think it was when a ref doesn't make decisions or there's no change in behavior, so anything goes. Then players start chatting and they get the frustration kicks in, and that's exactly what happened there. But from a South African point of view, I don't know how many entries they had. I think
12.
12. And then you look at the conversion rate. So I think the game plan from the Springboks, the pressure was good, but the reality is that pressure is going to count on the scoreboard, and it didn't from South African point of view.
When I think about it, and your answer there made me think, I did notice quite a lot Jesse Creel and Scott Barrett approaching the ref.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that means that they're questioning or asking about stuff.
Yeah.
So, because, and sometimes, you might see the captain talk to the ref once or twice during the game, or the ref explains his decision and the captain just moves on when he's fine with the decision. But there was a lot of questioning, like that both captains were at him quite a bit.
Yeah.
So there was obviously some frustration there for them to have to do that.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I didn't actually really think about it until we started talking about Jesse Creel. I thought, I remember him getting over to Carl Dixon quite a lot and talking to him.
Yeah, and it's several things, and he just kept going back and back, and you could even see you could see the frustration at the end. Guys, was he offside here? Was he onside? What's happening at the breakdown? Is this allowed?
Yeah.
The last sequence with the counteract when there's players falling over. It sounds like I'm whinging, you know what I mean? But I mean, you look at that and you're like, because I thought, okay, a counteract, great counteract, but you can't fall over the ball. That wasn't penalised. So I think there'll be frustration from a South African point of view. But the reality is, in a test match of that magnitude at Eden Park, you need to be at your best, and the Springboks weren't.
Can I ask you, because the midfield line-out situation thing that you guys do, I think if the All Blacks did that and they'd not won every game of the season, there would be a massive outcry of like, why are you practicing that at training? Like, is there any sort of frustration? Like, I know he's a great innovator, like there's no doubt about it, but with that line out move that just got swamped on the weekend, like, is there any frustration that says like, guys, can you just practice or train the stuff that's going to win us the game? It's not going to look funny.
I think it's a good question, because before you answer it, and I'm not answering it, don't worry, because I know it's a question to you.
Go ahead, Marshall.
No, but when I'm thinking about it, it's really relevant and quite unusual that you've brought up something sensible, Andy. Is when they did it, they hadn't had great territory or a lot of ball.
Yeah.
So it was quite significant time to do it. It's like, okay, we haven't had much ball, we need to, the All Blacks had already scored 2 tries at that stage. It's like, right, we need to start getting some scoreboard pressure or and they did that at that stage, which obviously they've then fumbled.
Yeah.
So it's like, off the back of his question, it's like the timing of it, and then secondly, why do it when...
Yeah, look, I think the South Africans love the innovation. I just thought, we didn't have to do it against Italy. Hold that move for now. So the All Blacks had never seen it before, because you could see they were prepared for it, Yeah,
they were.
But the thing is, with innovation, it works. If it works, you're the superstar. I mean, last year we had Cheslin Colby, I think, throwing in the ball in an All Black game. Remember, he was at hooker. You remember? And then he was putting the ball in the scrum. If he had thrown that ball in skew, everyone would have turned around and said, listen, stop trying to be a smart ass. Give the ball to the hooker and let him throw in, So if it works, everyone loves you. By the way, that midfield lineout was done 2019 World Cup in the final.
Was it?
But the guys didn't jump. They just stayed on the ground. The difference is now is the guys get lifted. So it's not a new... The difference now is that the guys lift the guys. You 4-man lineout, you go short side, or you take it up and then you come down back the blind. The guys would stand and then hold it up and then maul it through. They got a penalty, kick over. So it's not something that the guys aren't used to. But you're right, Mosh, it's the timing. But you do get it right. You look like a hero. Yeah. You get it wrong, people say you're trying too much.
Someone told me that he saw it from a schools team.
Yeah, Paul Riss. Yeah,
Riss.
Under 14B team.
Yeah,
it was all it was all over YouTube, obviously, or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it was. And they scored from that. Next thing, the Springboks are doing it. So it's probably the most famous under 14B team in South Africa.
The other thing
in the world.
In the world, yeah. The other thing I did hear, and I can't recall it, and I haven't actually rewatched the game since, and I didn't see it when I was calling the game. I don't know if you did, but I heard that they might have got Etzebeth early.
What?
The All Black,
I haven't seen the replay.
Yeah,
played in the air,
there's a bit of chat been going around.
Yeah,
that
I've heard
they
that,
tackled him before they interfered with him before he came to ground, because you can't touch him when he's in the air. You can't touch a player. That's why it kind of works.
Oh, but what if you're taking a pass? You can.
Yeah. So if he's up in the air and his feet are off the ground, you can't grab
Even
him
if
or
it's a
touch him or
pass?
tackle him. No, you can't.
can't.
He's off the ground. So it's all this protect the player who's off, who leaves his feet.
Right.
So if you bump him or touch him or grab him before his feet come back on the ground, that's a penalty. And I think a bit of the Green Goblin chat from our Saffers was he was tackled early.
Yeah, I haven't
They
seen,
made contact with him
I haven't
early.
seen the replay. I mean, it goes back. The tricky thing, there is a grey area. Remember Carl Sinclair with the British and Irish Lions?
yeah.
When he took the ball off 9 and then the pass was too high, he jumped off. Then he got tackled and it was a penalty against New Zealand.
Yeah.
Now, how else are you meant to stop him if he's close to the line, for example?
100%.
What are you meant to do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those, look, whether it was caught in the air, whatever, but you just knew New Zealand were ready for it. We went over the 15 once, Wallace Satiti came around. So it was smart play. Yeah. But one thing this All Black team did quite well, I thought they gave South Africa a ball on New Zealand's terms, not on South Africans' terms.
Yes.
You know, which sort of disrupts you. So you see the base with the box kicking, counter-racking, trying to upset the base so the aerial game doesn't happen. You know, so New Zealand was smart. I must say that they were clever, almost a step ahead at times. And look, I keep saying it to South African supporters, to break that 30-year record or whatever it is at Eden Park,
You have to be
you have to be at your best. You can't be, you can't take 12 chances and not take all of them. You need to take all your chances and all of that. And that's the reality. If any team's going to win there, they have to be at their best, or New Zealand have to be absolutely horrible that day.
Yeah, I actually thought that the All Blacks won a lot of the little micro moments within the match. You know, obviously you've got all those big macro moments happening.
Yeah.
But the little micro ones, like the ball on the ground, the guy diving on it, they
Yeah.
won that.
Yeah.
A contest in the air with both guys went up and no one got it clearly, but the ball bounced and was protected.
Yeah.
You know, every now and then, I think there's one stage there was a bounce of ball and Scott Barrett put his hand out and just slapped it back and
Yeah.
it went into someone's lap.
Yeah.
You know, all those little parts of the game that sometimes you could fumble it, knock it on, not win the race to the ground.
Gives you energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I thought they were really they were really good at nailing those little moments within the game, the little battles that you don't see sometimes. Yeah.
Who was the man of the match? I still don't know.
Well, I mean, I was
Tupu Vai, surely.
we're not allowed to do it now because we got a one of the scan this code thing comes up and the public votes.
So who did the public vote for?
The public had to vote for man of the match. But because I knew the bar was closing at 10 o'clock at Ridges, which is a disgrace, by the way, but we could talk about that for 20 minutes.
We'll come back to that. I need you guys to chuck on your headphones because we've got
Cool.
The Clutch King has just jumped on.
Oh, there he is.
We can't hear him. We can't hear him unless we have our headphones on. Rabs, how are you, mate? We haven't spoken to you since you went over to Joburg. You cleaned up over there and then and come back here, mate. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's been an interesting ride, that's for sure. But I've been loving it, hey, soaking it up. Just got to Sydney, sun's out, about to go to Bondi Beach for a bit of recovery. Like, can't complain at all.
Are you at the beach? Show us.
I'm not at the beach yet, just in my hotel room.
Oh,
Just,
nice.
There's a bit of Sydney for you. Hey?
Oh, lovely.
Look at that sky. Oh,
James, why do you like it? Why do you like Capri so much?
what's that?
Why do you like Capri so much in Cape Town?
It just reminds me of home, the beach. Another good part of the world, you see.
well done on the Ellis Park win. Wallabies on the rise, though. You guys are trending in the right direction, but pretty close this weekend.
Yeah, it is. Man, there's a lot of group building in the team. And again, like, hey, we're not too happy with the starts of our games, but I feel like we're coming home strong. And yeah, it's going all right, but I feel like Argentina are going to be coming, just like the Boks were.
Sorry, last questions from my side. I know you've got South African blood in you.
Yeah.
Do you ever regret not playing for the Springboks?
Jeez, it could have been a nice run. No, I'm Aussie through through. I'm side of the family. My grandparents are South African, but look, they moved to Australia as well. It's a better country here, you see.
Like a butt.
I'm a China.
Hey, Rabs, obviously it's been a while since we caught up, mate. Good to see you, and obviously congrats on your success and getting selected, and then obviously the Ellis Park victory. What do you feel it's been like in terms of being in the camp you've seen that's changed this Wallaby side and the way that you guys are playing now?
I think firstly it just comes down to that connection. Like all the boys are getting along well. Like the coaches, we have such a good group, so it's everyone wants to be here. Like I've been in groups where if you're not in the 23 or you're sort of on the outskirts, it can be tough when you're not pulling that jersey on. But I feel like we've got a full squad performance happening at the moment. Like training's getting tasty, getting prepared well, and guys are just having fun. So I think a big thing as well is that Joe's letting us like move the ball. We're playing to the spaces. Not all the time, but we're trying to do it a little bit more than less. So it's just a good vibe in camp.
Rabs, I'm going to ask you a question. I need you to be honest to us.
When am I never honest with you, Andy?
The penalty. You wanted to take the shot and take the glory and kick for draw, didn't you? You did. Tell me exactly how that conversation went down with Tate and Harry.
Well, look, to be honest, like, we're all on the same page for the first couple. We're like corner, this, that, had a crack at them, had another crack at them. And then it was a throw over for me, so of course I want that goal. No, we got pretty close. So
guys, I think we should go for the draw. We should go for the draw. Take the points.
We'd had a crack at him a few times, and literally, like Harry also just asked me, he's like, "What do you reckon?" I was like, "Look, I can throw this one over." I said, "Bro, what do you want to do?" And to be fair to him, like it's all on the big fella because that was his call alone at the end there, and he just said, not in the exact words, but I didn't come here for a bloody draw. So,
nice.
There we go.
Do you reckon that Argentina, I mean, this could be for everyone, Argentina, are they getting the credit from the punters that they deserve? Because they're rocking everyone at the moment, and they have had some good results over the last few years, right? Yeah. What was it like playing with them, Rabs?
Well, they're such a tough team to almost prepare for because they're good in every element of the game. Like they're great at chaos, ball on the ground, ball behind, good kicking games. Like you've seen what Carreras is doing with that ball. They can run. They got electric backs. You saw some of their starter plays from scrum. Their line out and their defense is unreal in that middle part of the field. So like they're a very hard team to, I guess, prepare for. So for us, it's just we have to play our best footy and find spaces as best as possible. So as you know, man, that game could have easily gone the other way. So we've got a bit of preparing to do and a few things to tweak up, that's for sure.
James, my son is 16 years old and he hasn't seen Australia win the Bledisloe Cup. Please, make him smile this year. Win it, please.
Oh, right. I don't even know what to say to that. I've got a few things in my head, a few comebacks, but I'll probably not play on.
Mate, what is the situation? Because Leicester Tigers have been amazing to you. They've let you stay on and play out your boyhood dreams again. What's the plan with the Bledisloe?
The boyhood dreams, yeah. Oh, look, man, they've been unreal. Like Jeff and Leicester have been, he's just been so supportive in terms of just, following my dream and what I've been trying to do. But look, at the moment, just focusing on this week because that's sort of all we have planned. And then I think Jeff and Joe will have communications and then go from there. But look, I am. I'm definitely keen to stay. So we'll see what comes.
Mate, I wanted to ask you, Chocobates, the 12. Man, how good is that? Did you have to tackle that bloke? Yeah. Because he looks hard to tackle.
He was my first tackle off a scrum. He's dare say he's got a bit of Jesse Curl about him, just muscle on muscle.
Yeah.
Jesse got me a couple of times in that last test. My ribs were a little bit sore, and then someone else got me today, so they're already tenderized. So. But man, he's a good player. Like, again, full skill set. He can carry at the line. He can bump. He can play those short balls and those little ones out the back to hold defenders in. Pretty accomplished game. So he's definitely one of the guys we will be targeting a little bit more.
I reckon he's the best 12 in the world at the moment.
Okay.
Obviously you've got teammates and that and the All Blacks as well, but when I look at it objectively, I'm like, he's
top.
Man, he is good.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen those meters he's getting over the gain line, hey? Like some of those first carries off lineouts, he had no right to be able to get through those little gaps. And then, again, the square lines he's running to hold space on the edges, he's definitely up there.
Rabs, can I ask you, I don't know if you saw anything really of the All Blacks game, would have been difficult. Maybe you caught some highlights, but I thought the All Blacks were really clever with their first two tries at basically beating the blitz, thinking about how to get. Yeah. So obviously they did a cross kick, which was great, and then equally they went off the back of the line out and went back on the inside. Yeah. Man, when I was watching you pull the trigger on some of those passes in that first test at Ellis Park, your depth was real good. You obviously knew it was coming. What's it like playing against that aggressive defence? And obviously, how did you unlock it? Because you did it really, really well.
Yeah, look, obviously you go into a game with an idea of what you think their D's going to do, and like you look at South Africa's DNA and where they've had so much success is they brought that line speed sort of into international rugby, and they're coming very hard. So with that, if they get you, you're stuffed. But if you can play a phase or two and just slowly bring them out of the line, and try to fish them to come to you, it does create space out the back or for some little short options that you can play around them. So. Hey, I'm not going to say everything was planned and went to plan, but there was a few things that did. Again, like I said, the ribs are tenderized, so I had to take one for the boys with a few of those late hard-up passes. I don't think my ribs will ever be the same, hey.
What was it like playing in Townsville? Like I couldn't believe it when I tuned into the game and I watched, and like 2 minutes into it, I was like, what are they doing? And you had to have a mandatory water break stop because it was so hot. Is that right? Like you guys have had some crazy stuff. You had that in the Lions. Obviously, you had that whole thunder and lightning situation, and now you've got these water stops because you're basically playing in spring.
Yeah, poor old Tommy Liner looked like he's got sunburn on the top of his head.
We joked about that before the game, hey, that Tom was going to be burnt to a crisp. But
you got your sun cream on.
The shade came over pretty quickly. That second half, I was all playing in the shade and downwind, so I was pretty happy. But look, like the water break. Do you need it? Don't you need it? I guess it's for health and safety and whatnot. But I don't think it favoured us, to be fair. Like we wanted to keep like getting on with the game and speeding it up. I guess that's sort of our DNA and imprint how we want to play. But at the same time, it was like tough conditions, but it wasn't that tough. If I'm being honest.
Rabs, we'll let you go, mate. You got a beach
Thanks,
session.
Rabs.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, man.
Cheers.
I'll speak to you soon, eh?
Cheers.
Gotcha.
That was current Wallaby, James O'Connor, and we've got Jeremy Paul, the winner, the serial winner, coming up next. But before that, it is time for this week's Harvey Norman Next Gen Moment of the Week. Harvey Norman has a huge range of Next Gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. And this week's moment goes to...
Imani Narawa, because
Ooh.
we're talking about speed and performance, aren't we? And when he received that cross kick from Bowden Barrett into space, first of all, his speed to actually get to the kick, and then, the real sort of, I guess, energy and around recognising that it was going to always be short of him, got to accelerate, dived and caught the ball. And then you got to get up off the ground when you've got a defender on your head, Villy LaRue all over him, and then just absolutely dynamic powers towards the try line. Nice little show and go, and goes in for a try. Like that's what we're talking about when we're talking Harvey Norman speed, next gen sort of stuff. Imani Narawa, mate, big time.
High processing power, just like the Snapdragon powered PC, clocking in at 45 trillion operations per second, learning how you work and responding in real time. That was your Harvey Norman Next Gen Moment of the Week. Head into your local Harvey Norman and experience the power of Next Gen AI PCs today. And coming to us live from his AI powered, Snapdragon powered PC that he got from Harvey Norman, he got a free one.
He got one, not us though.
How good is it?
Hey, Rain Man.
Well, they only give the free ones to talent, boys. So I obviously got one. But hey, look, this laptop, mate, everything goes into AI. Like it's extraordinary. It builds presentations, helps you, because I'm obviously Rain Man. I'm good with numbers, but not with words. So,
I'm obviously Rain Man.
Whenever I write things straight into AI, instantly, man. But it makes me look so professional. But I can tell you, boys, I am sitting here proud to be Australian, because what we've seen over the last 4 to 6 weeks has been extraordinary. Like it's just been, wow. It's so hard to even try to explain. Like, okay, very quickly, I saw this incredible tweet where someone was in a pub and the NRL, Rugby League, and AFL, and we're coming up to finals time, and the Wallabies and Pumas game was on. Do you know everyone turned their back on the Rugby League and the AFL to watch the Wallabies in the pub
a big one.
was screaming. Mate, it's huge, mate.
it's a big
They
one.
are bringing the fans back, and with performances like that, with a brave captain, wow. Who does, Marshall, you must have been screaming at the TV. Take the points! Take
It's
the
coming
points!
home, brother. It's coming home.
Bledisloe Cup.
Hey, the
Please win the
Bledisloe.
Bledisloe Cup.
It's already in the bank.
Eden Park, mate, we just won after 63 years at Joburg, mate. Eden Park, 40 years, nothing.
JP, I wanted to ask you about, because we haven't had the opportunity to speak and let the people know, like Ellis Park, mate. Like, did you get up in the middle of the night? Were you ever the optimist that, you know, maybe the Wallabies might scratch a win? And what unfolded? Like, to be honest, at halftime, you probably, if you did get up, probably thought about going back to bed. You know, but what was your feeling and reaction to that performance and the aftermath of it?
Well, look, the first thing, a part of that question is I was up. Yes, and this is what this Wallaby side. I think that started in the autumn test last year, mate. Like that wonderful performance against England. It's an entertaining type of footy, and what we saw in that last test against the Lions, if we could replicate that, where Will Skilton was manhandling men, made them look like boys, right? And so, you know, obviously getting up. Yeah, that first 30 minutes, I was just thinking, well, I've been there, mate. I think I played 10 games in South Africa and won one, and that was in Durban. Like, it was almost impossible. I think I played a couple of times at Ellis Park, and we even tried half-time on the field because we didn't want to walk. Man, it's about a kilometre to get back into the change room, right? Like, it's rubbish. And we couldn't hear each other. We obviously practiced that at the captain's run, but then during the game day, we couldn't hear what Eddie Jones was saying. So that was a complete waste of time. But anyway, to see that performance in the second half and to back themselves, and again, going off the back of that Lions, that second test, right? Like I mentioned on the pod, there was 10 minutes of probably the best 10 minutes I've seen in over a decade when we scored those 3 tries right in that second test. We just couldn't back it up with the defence, and we saw that in the third test against the Lions, where they didn't score a try until like the 64th or score a point. So to hold them scoreless, so we started seeing this resilience in defence. And look, we didn't see any of that in the first 20-odd minutes, but again, South Africa at Ellis Park, there was always going to be an onslaught. But mate, you try screaming at 3:30 in the morning with nothing coming out of your voice because I've got too many kids asleep at the moment. It's easily one of the hardest things. Mate, I was there going... It was watching, especially when Tom Wright scored that last try, right? But that resilience, that willingness to play, that belief in each other, you just don't build this like overnight. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of trust. It takes a lot of hard work too, right? Like that hard work where you can look at your mate and go, yeah, man, I'm going to go and die for you. It's everyone thinks it's just lip service, like you can just easily do this, but it's not, mate. You've got to build this trust. You've got to build this camaraderie and these combinations together, and that is digging tough. And there's no tougher place, man, than Ellis Park. And when you saw Rassie Erasmus come out and like, wow, they had no answers. It's the first time we've seen the Boks with no answers, and wow, what a time, right? Like I was into all my South African mates, mate. AJ Venter, I was giving it to him, man, like because no one gave us a chance, right? No one. And look, I think even at Cape Town we showed just as much resilience. Tom Wright though, doing his ACL, I was gutted for him first 4 minutes. Massive loss, and obviously that that change of them bringing on Callaway, but he was extraordinary though, and we saw him take the 15 jersey against the Pumas. But look, they've had so many disruptions, a few injuries, then losing Will Skilton as well after that tour. But our boy Rabs, wow, what a journey, what a story! Like it's just been so awesome to watch him play, man, and to finish, it's just been. Wow, they're bringing the fans back, boys. That's the big thing here in Australia at the moment is the momentum of the Wallabies and how courageous they are and how they're bringing the fans back to watch rugby. It's incredible.
Let's talk about what's happening now with the Pumas. Like you came back from behind. The first half was a bit slow, to put it mildly. And then, how are you guys looking ahead now, JP? Is there anything that you can change? Because you've had a couple of those games now where you've had to come from behind to win it.
Yeah, look, you got to give credit to the Pumas though. They were outstanding in that first half. I actually thought they were borderline offside because first half, man, their line speed and defense was that's what kept them in
Are you
the
calling
game.
the Pumas cheats? Is that what you're saying?
No, mate.
Give us a headline, JP.
The Crusaders and the All Blacks, let's put it this way, if the yellow card was invented back in my day, they would never have won as much. Ooh, well, anyway. I actually thought they were on the borderline of being offside, and we saw 5 straight penalties in the second half, mate, which we saw a Simbin, their winger, got Simbin for being offside. Mate, look, you're always going to be on that borderline, right? Like, because you're just itching to get it. And that's what it's all about, man. The top teams in the world have awesome line speed and they make their tackles. And we saw that with the Pumas. And look, actually, off first phase as well, look, not too many teams are scoring such incredible tries off first phase. And we saw the Pumas score 2 amazing set-piece tries. Actually, back in the day, I don't know about you, Marshy, but back in the day with us, we used to gauge ourselves of where we were at, of how many tries we'd score off first phase, because that meant our starter plays were bang on point. Everyone knew their clarity. It was a big thing for us to see where we were as a team in terms of confidence level, in terms of our attack, was how many tries we'd score off first phase, particularly line-out. But Puma scored a couple of scrums, which were excellent interchange of passing between the backs. God, they got some absolute danger out wide. But look, to the Wallabies' credit in the second half, look, they knuckled down. Their discipline, 9 penalties to 3, I think it was in the first half. You don't want to give away more than 10, right, in a game. So the Wallabies came out second half. They knuckled down. Their discipline was way better. I think they gave 1 or 2 penalties away in the second half. And then we saw this momentum, Angus Bowell coming on. I thought Joe Smith and his finishes in terms of when he brought players on, he changed the 2 props in terms of Angus Bell and Zane Noggle. Those 2 contributed hugely. Angus Bell, well, back to that form in that autumn test last year. Like, I think he made 3 carries in that first Joseph Suwa'ali'i try. My boy, 2 tries. Told you, boys. Told you. Just stick with me. And we saw this incredible moment, right, with Harry Wilson, the captain. But hey, this isn't something that is new, boys. Like, he did this in the Lions series. He did this against the Boks. Let's back ourselves. Let's back ourselves. Go for the corner. And look, I have often screamed at the TV, going, take the points, take the points. But you've just got to admire this courage. Look, it is going to backfire, 100%. One day it is. But it hasn't so far. So back yourself and continually back yourself. I love it, Harry Wilson. And I feel that if they can recover really well this weekend, because it was a tough game, and we're seeing across the rugby championships that first team winning, then that second team coming back, right, the following week. So that's the difficulty, man. And that's the next step for this Wallaby side, is being able to do back-to-back performances.
Hey, mate, talking about rugby chat going around at the moment, Michael Cheika, there's some rumours that he might be going to the NRL. Is that right? Have you heard anything? What's the news?
Mate, what a story. What a story. Look, so Michael Cheika, a couple of years ago, he actually, he's a massive league supporter, always has been, and has always, part of his coaching, has always looked out to other codes to see how he could get better. And rugby league was huge for him. Like, he's part of the Roosters, and Trent Robinson, who's easily one of the best coaches currently in the NRL today, would bring Michael Cheika into the Roosters. And Michael Cheika, like when he was coaching with the Wallabies, they'd do a pose session. So he's had this affiliation, and then was given the Lebanese coaching job for the NRL. Oh, sorry, not the NRL, but the Rugby League World Cup.
That's right. He coached in the Rugby League World Cup from Lebanon. Yeah.
So he was the coach.
Because that's where he's from, right? Or his family.
Correct. Correct. Proud. Yep. 100%. And look, the thing about Michael Cheika was, look, wonder how he'd go, and he's really good at man management. And I think the one person that came back and commented about Michael Cheika's performances, you have to listen. That is a guy called Mitchell Moses, who is State of Origin player, captain for the Parramatta Eels. Very, very much one of those very high players within the NRL today. And he said Michael Cheika would kill it. in the NRL. And I think when you've got a playmaker in the spine, they call it in NRL, who's so high up in the game and said Michael Cheika would kill it, mate, you've got to take that, right? Like you have to take that on board. And then, so the Newcastle Knights, they've just lost their coach. At the end of the year, Anthony O'Brien will be leaving. I think he coached his last game. So what the Newcastle Knights have done, have actually reached out to Michael Cheika and said, we will give you an interview. So he's got to the next step, I believe. Wow. Now, whether or not he will be in coaching, I think he could kill it. Look, I think in terms of the rules of the game, he knows the rules. Mate, it's a simplistic game. Hit it up for 5, kick it, defensive. No, we're not talking about like a very over-complex game, but it's a brilliant game. Look, I love rugby league. And I think in terms of like, you look at the EPL, like where you look at these managers come in and do a Man U or Chelsea, or like look at Tottenham Hotspur, like our own Ange, ourselves, soccer coach. It's man management. You're talking about looking after $1 billion worth of players, and it's not about necessarily teaching the skills of the game. It's about creating a game plan that everyone buys into. And I feel Michael Cheika, mate, he's coached the Rugby World Cup, like gone and taken the Wallabies to a Rugby World Cup final. He coached Argentina as well. He's now coaching over in Leicester, got them to the final. The guy's a winner, won the Waratahs' very first Super Rugby final as well. The guy's a winner, mate. Like he coaches and he's been successful.
Takes one to know one, JP.
Well, that's it, mate. Us winners stick together. Me and Czech, mate, we're good mates.
JP, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Brought to you by our Harvey Norman Next Gen AI PC, powered by Snapdragon. Your beautiful faces never look so beautiful, JP.
Mate, I'm just about to go and put into my laptop into AI, like, how much are we going to win the Bledisloe Cup by? Like, that's all I want to know.
You must be AJ Fainter's only friend, because he doesn't have me.
We'll see you in the studio next week, mate. Get out of here.
I'm the Wallabies!
We'll take off our headphones because we don't need these anymore.
Yep.
We should talk about who played well for the Springboks and who you would like to see in the squad when this comes out, because Russie has been Russie. He's naming his squad early.
Yeah, so the background behind that is he was supposed to name the team on Thursday.
Yeah.
So obviously it's awesome to have Shimmy on. So I organised Shimmy to come on our pod, which is amazing. Thanks, Shim. Cheers, bud.
No problem.
Thanks for coming down.
But now he's having to go back on a Monday night, whereas he's going to have a night out with his mates and me here in Christchurch. But he has to fly back this evening because Russie's done at Russie and he's announcing his team tonight after saying he's going to do it on Thursday. So we can make you look like a genius, mate.
Yeah.
Because the team's not out yet, but it'll be out by the time the pod goes out. But you could actually make some calls that are going to happen this evening.
Okay, Jasper Wiese to start.
That number 8?
Yeah, 6-2 split.
You reckon he'll go 6-2 this time? Why did he not in the first test?
I'm not sure. Maybe one of the backs couldn't go 80. That's the risk.
Well, the weird one was, because a lot of our chat was like, the chat around Khaleesi.
Yeah.
He's obviously carrying a bit of an injury. He was in doubt. So why wouldn't you go 6-2 split when you're carrying a forward?
Yeah, I thought a game like that was crying out for an Ochies Neyman. In terms of his offloading game, a tight test. He's got the ability as a lock to create a little bit of magic in terms of an offload also. So I thought maybe him, but I think Jasper Wiese will get a run now. He wouldn't have come on tour just to do fitness. He could have done that in South Africa. So his ban is over now, so he'll get a run. I think Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu might get a run, but I'm not sure which position though.
He looked good when he came on at fullback.
He looked good at fullback, but then you've got Willemse also. So I think those are the only changes. Chaslin picks himself. The front row, the thing is, Wilkelo is a good scrummer, but he's good off the bench. You need penalties at the end of the game. He's your guy to go to. Oxenchair will definitely start. Hook will stay the same. Ibn the same. Peter Steff will get another run. I just think probably a 6-2 split with Wiese starting, Sia back at loose forward and Van Staden coming off the bench.
Let's look at the All Blacks now because we haven't chatted much about their performance or what we think they may roll out again this week. Simon Parker for me is an interesting one because I watch a lot of rugby but didn't know too much about him at all. He's just burst on the scene and all of a sudden everyone's talking about him.
He's a big guy.
Gets on with it, yeah.
We were watching him, Shimmy and I, warming up at the weekend, and you can see the presence he's got. He's a pretty intimidating looking, physique. So it was really interesting, the Simon Parker thing, because I called the game and hardly remember calling his name at all. And it was quite interesting because after the game, I bumped into some supporters that watched the game, and they said, "Man, how good was Simon Parker?"
Right.
And yet, in my mind, I hadn't really noticed them within the game. But when I thought about it, I thought, well, that's because he was doing the shit work. He made an incredible amount of tackles. He was axing people, and he was just carrying tough, close, pick and go. So, look, I think he's growing into that role. It's what a traditional blindside flanker does. I just need to get my head around him also having the ability to be a ball player, because you've got to have that balance. If you're a big body like that, two defenders are going to come at you to knock you down. And if you, just before you get to them, have the ability to get a behind ball going or tip on happening, then all of a sudden you're creating space for others. So that's where I need to see him evolve. But look at their performance. RAGES has been under a lot of pressure.
A lot.
And I just thought the All Blacks were really smart. I'm not saying he out-coached Swasi. What I'm saying is they recognised where the threats were going to be coming. They knew it was going to be coming in the air. Yeah. They realised that they were going to have to enter into better kicking strategy, which they did for most parts. Some of it was still off and still a bit messy, but in general, they didn't lose the air, I don't think. Didn't categorically win it, but in an area they've been deficient. So they smarted up there. They knew the blitz was coming, the cross kick, and then the move off the line out for Satiti, bouncing out, boom, inside. The fact that Will Jordan had moved from fullback to wing didn't matter. They still were pulling the trigger on a move that they wanted to. Yeah, so it should have been a Monty Nuttawa going through that hole. But Jordan went onto the wing. And
the timing was beautiful for that.
And they didn't change because they had lost a guy. They had obviously seen something, Marks defending off the back, that they could exploit. And so it didn't matter what player was running in that gap. They were still going to do it. So I just think, that they got a lot of things in terms of their planning and their game plan right on the day. Yeah, they won those moments, the big ones like Artie's turnover and stuff. But I think for a coach under pressure, biggest test match that this country's seen since the Lions 2017, we've got to say to Scott Robertson, you did a fucking good job.
Marsh, now you're sitting in Cape Town, we watch you guys lose to Argentina. So obviously you go on the pods and you read the papers. The outcry from that, I was quite shocked. I was quite surprised by it. It's almost, you get that a lot in South Africa. We haven't had a lot purely because we're going through a good run with 2 World Cups. Yeah. Is that normal in New Zealand rugby? I mean, I was surprised at the anger over that loss.
Yeah, I think it's, Shimmy, because it was another dent in our history. Argentina had never been able to beat us on their soil. Yes, they'd beaten that hoodoo of beating the All Blacks before, here in New Zealand and in Newcastle of all places. But anyway, they still in front of their own supporters hadn't been able to beat the All Blacks. And then when that happened, it's just another dent in our history. It's another, I guess, milestone or historic thing that we had created and worked hard, proudly to preserve that this team let go. Yeah. And so, you're going to get fallout when you're not just dropping a test match, but you're changing history that you can never replicate or replace. Yeah. So I think that was why there was quite a bit of that. And equally, there was still pressure coming out of the French series. We didn't play well.
No.
Let's bring it back to this weekend. Wellington. God, you've tipped us over there before. Twice. All right. Okay. Who's counting?
As he takes a swig of his beer. Nonchalantly.
One was a draw, one was a win.
What are we going to see this weekend, lads?
A Springbok team with less errors, a more accurate Springbok team. I think they'll be confident. Look, it's bizarre because, I I commentated on the test at Ellis Park that lost there. There was a feeling there that, it almost felt worse, than losing this one at Eden Park, because the Eden Park one, I must say, we created enough, we just didn't convert. So it's a missed opportunity. I think the last time the Boks were at Eden Park was, 2013 or something like that. When are we going to get that chance again with a Springbok team that's won 2 World Cups, top of the game, with the depth? So that's what hurts, is that the missed opportunity, the missed chance there. But I think they'll fix it for this weekend at Wellington. Look, selection, obviously selection. But I think in terms of the errors, the mistakes that were made, those are going to be eradicated.
I think the All Blacks will be looking first and foremost, that their balance on what they're going to do now. And when Nara was out, like, does Caleb Clark come back into the mix?
Whainganuku.
Whainganuku, yeah. I'd like to see him get a go.
Do you think they would? Do you
But
think
funnily
they would?
enough, I still want to
a
see
good
him. I think it's the right time to play him at centre.
Really?
Yeah.
Outside centre.
Yeah.
He played for the Crusaders outside.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go.
Either
He's
that or
picking another Crusaders guy for the All
Yeah,
Blacks.
that's how I roll.
He did it at
That's
the
how I
World
roll.
Cup. He did it at the whole World Cup.
But like, and you know, possibly or Whainganuku on the wing, and Rico back to centre.
Well, someone's going to have to come in for Narawa. So
Yeah.
would it not just be a straight swap?
Well, it depends on how they want to balance that out. Because the
Mackenzie
reason
Jordan.
they picked Narawa is actually he is actually quite good in the air,
Yeah.
and so they wanted somebody that could, you know, compete in the air because you know the Springboks, regardless of what team they pick, they've got good accurate kicking strategy, good from 9, good from 10, you know, real accurate. So you've got to pick a player that's going to be able to deal with that. So that's why they selected Narawa. Real shame for him going out of that test early.
Shame, man. Yeah, you feel for a player when that happens.
That's right. So they can't just stick a player in there who plays wing who's not good in the air. You know, so, and I just don't know whether Rico, like I don't remember him going up for a high ball the weekend. Do you?
Yeah, Rico's not renowned for his aerial skills.
No. So it's just like, well, you know, shifting him in.
Shift him into centre. Got you.
He knows how to play there. I put together some analysis work, and if you didn't see that during the week, then you really missed out. But anyway.
The best.
And
The real Rain Man.
Did you get hold of Rain Man?
Yeah, no, I didn't
The real
need,
Rain
I
Man.
didn't need Rain Man. I Rain Man myself. Anyway, and the two examples that I picked out of them scoring tries outside and beating the blitz, and it was hard blitz as well, like 6 defenders coming at them, and I paused it right on that. The lines that Rico run in both instances when the All Blacks scored tries from centre were outstanding. He fixed defenders just with his timing and his looking like he was going to be ball receiver and all that. So it made me confident that he can with a blitz defence cause that defence problems,
Right.
with or without the ball. So I don't think we'd be harmed by him starting at centre.
Yeah.
You know, and then a Whainganuku can start on the wing.
Shimmy, thank you so much for making the trip
Thanks,
down.
Shim.
And
No,
bloody-
awesome.
Bloody
Hey,
good to
Boots.
have you on. Bloody good.
My butt.
Never won a rugby game in this town, so I'm happy to leave.
And thank you very much for listening or watching. A huge thanks to our mates at Harvey Norman as well. They've got a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. Enjoy your rugby this weekend.